Good morning. Good morning. Welcome or welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Tuesday, August the 27th. We're here to look at the new releases that are being set free this week. We do it every day of the work week, Monday through Friday, and we do a different genre every day. Yesterday, Monday, we did cozy mysteries. Today, on Tuesday, we're looking at mysteries and thrillers. Sort of like your morning news, but it's good news. It's books. Kim says, "Good morning. Sorry I didn't last 5 minutes." That's okay. Sometime this morning. It's okay. Sleep is good. Very good morning. Happy Tuesday. Off to library a little later to volunteer. Always fun to go there. No kidding. Oh, that sounds like a very good day. And I have a sneeze coming. Just a minute. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right. Well, we are looking at mysteries and thrillers. Quick announcements. I do have sprints tonight. It is Tuesday. I do them every Tuesday and Thursday evenings and Saturday afternoons. Tonight it is at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. I usually start a few minutes early during good weather like summer because I'm not battling traffic as much from home. So let us jump. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Uh, all right. I still feel it tickling, but we're going to ignore it now. All right. Mysteries and thrillers. Starting with a young adult one, I believe. Ish. The Champions. This is the sequel to The Cheerleaders by Kara Thomas. It was the deaths of 5 cheerleaders that made the town of Sunnybrook infamous. 11 years later, the girl's killer has been brought to justice, and the town just wants to move on. By the time Hadley moves to Sunnybrook, though, the locals are more interested in the Tigers, the high school's championship-winning football team. The Tigers are Sunnybrook's homegrown heroes, something positive in a town with so much darkness in its past. Hadley could care less about football, but shortly after she gets assigned to cover the team's latest championship bid for the school newspaper, one of the Tigers is poisoned at a party, and almost immediately after, Hadley starts getting strange emails warning her to stay far away from the football team. It's becoming clear Sunnybrook's Golden Boys have secrets, and after a second player is mysteriously killed, Hadley's beginning to suspect that someone wants the team to pay for their sins. Or does this new target on the football team have something to do with what happened to the cheerleaders all those years ago? As an outsider in Sunnybrook, Hadley feels like she's the only one who can see the present clearly, but it looks like she's going to have to dig up the darkness of the past to get to the bottom of what's happening now. Luckily, there are still some Sunnybrook High grads who never left, people who were around 11 years ago, and if she can just convince them to talk, she might be able to stop a killer before another tiger dies. Strangely enough, that's kind of interesting to me. Not that I'm rushing out to get it, but it's kind of interesting to me. Sort of like Good Girl's Guide trilogy. The House Hunt by C.M. Ewan. For 2 years, Lucy and Sam renovated their beautiful Victorian home, but spiraling debts are forcing them to sell. The agreement with their real estate agent is that they won't be home for viewings, but when Lucy gets a voicemail saying the agent is running late, she realizes she will have to show the prospective buyer around herself. Suffering from extreme anxiety and claustrophobia, Lucy watches the stranger on their doorstep waiting to be let in. She wants to hide and pretend she's not home, but then she thinks of Sam working all hours to cover their bills, of how much they need this sale, and opens the door. Lucy takes a breath and begins to show their house. He is well dressed, polite, and despite her unease, everything goes well until he starts acting strangely. Why is he asking increasingly intrusive questions about her and Sam's relationship? Why is he trying to take photographs of her? And why does he disappear into the basement and then not answer her when she calls? There's something very wrong with the stranger, and now he is refusing to leave. So what you do is, if there's a door to the basement, you lock that door and you call the police. End of book. But I am suspecting she did not do that. Oh no! Shoot. All right. Sending more prayers. I am so sorry, honey. Red River Road by Anna Downs. Katie Sweeney is looking for her sister. A year earlier, just 3 weeks into a solo van life trip, her free-spirited young sister Phoebe vanished without a trace on the remote, achingly beautiful coastal highway in Western Australia. With no witnesses, no leads, and no DNA evidence, the case has gone cold, but Katie refuses to give up on her. Using Phoebe's social media accounts as a map, Katie retraces her sister's steps, searching for any clues the police may have missed. Was Phoebe being followed? Who had she met along the way, and how dangerous were they? And then Katie's path collides with that of Beth, who is on the run from her own dark past. Katie realizes that Beth might be her best and only chance of finding the truth, and the two women form an uneasy alliance to find out what really happened to Phoebe in this wild, beautiful, and perilous place. Anna Downs takes us on a twist-filled journey, blah, blah, blah. Speaking of which, Kim, is there any hints on his social media? Being that age, there's probably a lot of social media stuff. This one has an interesting cover. It looks like something from the 60s or 70s, but it is published this week. For Your Benefit by Patrick Canning. Teddy Lint is the kindest private investigator on the planet, committed to seeing the best in everyone he meets. The detective agency he runs with his brother Ralph out of a Los Angeles strip mall has seen a strange case or two before, but never anything like this. A man claiming to work for the CIA hires the Lints to find a shipping container of radioactive Agent Orange that vanished over 50 years ago. He insists someone is planning on using an army of drones to drench LA with the deadly chemicals before the week is out. The Lint brothers enter a maze of bizarre suspects, from nefarious and executives to anarchistic Boy Scouts to a toga-clad militia fighting for exclusive rule by women. The propaganda-obsessed society that seems to be running the world is probably worth looking into as well. The power of empathy collides with the dangers of disinformation as Teddy fights to save the people he loves. Our beloved detective doesn't give up easily, but any Angelinos with an aversion to death by herbicide might want to dust off that umbrella just in case. End of that row. The Dark Wives by Anne Cleves. She has a new one in the Vera Stanhope series. 11th in that series. The man's body is found in the early morning light by a local dog walker in the park outside Rosebank, a home for troubled teens in the coastal village of Longwater. The victim is Josh, a staff member who was due to work the previous night but never showed up. DI Vera Stanhope is called out to investigate the death, with her only clue being the disappearance of one of the home's residents, 14-year-old Chloe Spence. Vera can't bring herself to believe that a teenager is responsible for the murder. Oh, I can. But even she can't dismiss the possibility. Vera, Joe, and new team member Rosie Bell are soon embroiled in the case, and when a second connected body is found near the Three Dark Wives monument in the wilds of the Northumberland countryside, superstition and folklore begin to collide with fact. Vera knows she has to find Chloe to get to the truth and the dark secrets in her community that may be far more dangerous than she could ever have believed possible. I have not read those. I like police procedurals, especially in the UK. I've not gotten to hers. I've tried them. They're just not hitting with me. Anything from before he was missing? I usually like Anne Cleves as an author. Last thing he posted was asking for prayers for his son and his mother. His son is about 4 and has cerebral palsy. Oh my. The Trials of Lila Dalton by L.J. Shepard. I look up to find 12 strangers staring back at me, and I realize I'm the one they're waiting for. Lila Dalton has no memory of how she came to be in this courtroom. No memory of how she got to the courthouse at all, or why she's facing a jury who seems to be waiting for her. The man on trial is accused of mass murder, and she's his lawyer, but she can't remember any details of the case. She can't remember anything. Stranded on an island in the Atlantic Ocean where the most serious crimes are tried, Lila has to prove her client's innocence if she wants to go home. But how can she solve this case when she's not sure she can trust anything around her, including her own memory? Well, that sounds interesting. Huh. I will check out the first pages and see if the writing holds up to the premise. That does sound very interesting. Count Their Graves by Jennifer Chase. I don't really trust it when they say a completely gripping and unputdownable. You know what? Let me decide that. This is by Jennifer Chase, 12th in the Detective Katie Scott series. Out on her morning run, Detective Katie Scott is stopped in her tracks when her service dog, Cisco, alerts her to something. Weaving through the towering pine trees, Katie is horrified to find a little girl alone in the woods dressed in a white nightgown. The child sobs into Katie's arms. She's unharmed, but clearly traumatized. Scooping her up, Katie follows the trail to a large farmhouse. But what she finds there rips the air from her lungs. One, two, three, four bodies laid out side by side, all in matching pajamas. The Banks family were attacked in their sleep, but how had the little girl trembling in Katie's arms escaped with her life? What twisted monster would do such a thing, and why leave no trace but a single bloody handprint on the doorframe? Katie vows to find answers to this sweet child who has lost everything and everyone. Working night and day to piece together why this innocent family were targeted, Katie thinks she has her first lead when she discovers the family were under witness protection. Had they seen something they shouldn't? Was the aim to silence them forever? Questions are still spinning in Katie's mind when another family is discovered dead in their beds on the other side of Pine Valley. With the entire department stretched to breaking point with an unprecedented body count and trace evidence stacking up, it's going to take everything Katie has to track this twisted killer down. But as she closes in on her target, it's clear someone close to Katie is keeping a deadly secret. How many more innocent lives will be lost before she can bring them to justice? Meet the Parents by Emily Shiner. We're so excited to have you here in our home. My boyfriend's mother smiles at me a little too wide. His father's eyes are hard at the edges. It's like they're hiding something, but of course, I already know that. The mother, stay-at-home mother Marta, lives in her successful husband's shadow, overlooked by him ever since her darling son Owen went to medical school. She's not about to let the beautiful Gina take Owen away from her. Marta will play nice, but get Gina to trust her. But then she has a plan of her own. The son. Owen is already certain he wants to marry Gina. She's perfect. They just have to get through this weekend and then he'll propose. Sure, his mom can be overprotective, but Owen knows why. He knows what she's hiding. The girlfriend. Ever since purposefully running into Dr. Owen Whitlock at the hospital, Gina has been playing the doting girlfriend. She didn't mean to fall for Owen's charms for real. Now she's finally meeting his parents at their sprawling, secluded home, of course. Gina knows all about the terrible secrets this family is covering up, and she'll do anything to make sure they never find out who she really is. By the end of the weekend, the Whitlock's beautiful home will have burned to the ground, and someone won't make it out alive. Tag says something about in-laws. It's not in-laws yet. He hasn't even proposed. Return to Midnight by Emma Dews. On the anniversary of a savage mass murder, a survivor returns to the scene of the crime and all its buried secrets in a twisting novel of suspense. Nearly 10 years ago, five Ohio University students were murdered in an off campus Victorian home. The media dubbed it the Midnight House Massacre. Ever since, survivor and novelist Margot Davis has wanted to forget it and never again utter the killer's name, until she's compelled to write her side of the story. To do that, she's returning to Midnight House. It'll be a chance for Margot to reconnect with other survivors, heal the trauma, and dispel the ugly conspiracy theories of obsessed true crime fanatics. But when news of Margot's book gets out, she receives a threatening note that demands she stop lying or else. It chills Margot's blood because she hasn't been telling the whole truth. As the threats continue, each more sinister than the last, a journalist comes to Margot with new suspicions about the brutal October night. Now, to save her own life, Margot must reveal her well guarded secrets, ones that, for good reason, she's been too terrified to share. Fiona Barton has a new one, Talking to Strangers, second in the Elise King series. Detective Elise King's investigation into a woman's murder is getting derailed by a reporter who insists on doing her own investigation. When Karen Simmons is murdered on Valentine's Day, Detective Elise King wonders if she was killed by a man she met online. Karen was all over the dating apps, leading some townspeople to blame her for her own death, while others band together to protest society's violence against women. Into the divide comes Kiki Nunn, whose aggressive news gathering once again antagonizes Elise. A single mother of a young daughter, Kiki is struggling to make a living in the diminished news landscape. Getting a scoop in the Simmons murder would do a lot for her career, and she's willing to go up against not only Elise, but the killer himself to do it. The Man Feared by Darkness by Pete Zacharias, third in the Rooker Lindstrom thrillers. No one is safe when a crime reporter confronts the secrets of his dark past. The son of a serial killer, investigative reporter Rooker Lindstrom has been shadowed by death. He believes the worst is behind him until a body is discovered in California that matches the MO of Tate Meacham, the madman killer. But Meacham, who counted Rooker's son among his victims, has been in prison all these years. Did Rooker help lock away the wrong man, or is the latest kill the work of a copycat? PI Tess Harlow doesn't want to be involved this time. Rooker has taken years off her life, but she also knows that Rooker returning to California is sure to spell trouble, and Rooker talking to Meacham is the least of their problems. Do Meacham's mind games hold the key to the puzzle, or are they just another distraction covering up yet another crime? Rooker is sure the murders are meant for him, but why? For Rooker, on this final hunt, the most disturbing truths are yet to come. That also sounds kind of interesting to me. I must be in a mood. The Mechanics of Mystery. I wasn't sure which one to put this under. Either it was listed also as sci-fi, but also as mystery, so I put it here. The Mechanics of Memory by Audrey Lee. Never forget. Memory is Copeland Stark's business, yet after months of reconsolidation treatments of their sleek new flagship facility, Hope Nakano still has no idea what happened to her last year or the life she was just beginning to build with her one great love. Each procedure surfaces fragmented clues which erode Hope's trust in her own memories, especially the ones of Luke. As inconsistencies mount, her search for answers reveals a much larger secret Copeland Stark is determined to protect. But everyone has secrets, including Hope. Those are all I had, but I'm going to jump back into yesterday's because we had some leftovers. We did Instagoner. It appears he applied for a job sometime last Monday. Last sighting that was discovered Friday or Saturday. Do they have any CCTV or anything like that? Any security cameras? Sending prayers that he's found and that he's okay. Indeed. Barry Ripple Murder by Rosie A. Point, fourth in the Spies and Food Truck Cozy Mysteries. If you're looking for a food truck mystery for the prompt in September. A cozy small town with an ominous past, a Halloween display with a deadly twist. Can our sleuth serve up justice in time? When Spy on the Run Delta mission arrives in Cakeville, Wisconsin, she's finally ready to maintain her cover and keep her head down, especially now that it's Halloween and she gets to take some time off from the ice cream truck to hang out with her friends. But Delta's plans change when a body is found. The corpse of an unpopular baker has been incorporated into a Halloween display, and the town has a mysterious history of Halloween murders that have never been solved. Can Delta sift through the clues to find the Cakeville killer before another is claimed? And can she keep her identity secret while she does it? Stockyard Suspects by Summer Prescott, fifth in the Farm Fresh Cozy Mysteries. Sometimes getting put out to pasture can be murder. Former city girl Shay Beaumont is happily settling into her new life on the small Oklahoma farm that she now calls home. As she heads into her second winter, her plans for the farm stand are growing into an enterprise that can produce an income for her year round. She has added animals to her farm and can't help but laugh at her adventures with them. But when she wakes up to a very odd situation one morning, her life takes a dangerous turn. Dark and dirty dealings hit way too close to home, and Shay finds herself swept up in the middle of a mystery. If she can't solve it in time, consequences could be life changing or worse. Can she crack the case like one of her hen's eggs, or will she be moved out by a cutthroat competitor? Find out in this exciting mystery. Well, not after you do those stupid puns. Okay, that's just me. Clues for Concern, the Ozarks Cozy Mystery Series, book number 10 by Diane Harmon. In the small idyllic town of Clover, nestled in the Ozarks, Della Fox is trying to rebuild her life after the tragic death of her husband, Seth. However, peace is hard to come by when someone seems determined to see her follow in his footsteps. Threats lurk in the shadows, and Della's peaceful existence is shattered by the knowledge that she's being watched. Someone out there wants her dead. As Della tries to carry on with her day-to-day life, running her quaint secondhand store, Fox's Finds, she can't shake the feeling that danger is closer than ever. Her only comfort comes from the loyal companionship of Moose, her massive St. Bernard, and Bryce Summers, an undercover FBI agent who's as determined to solve Seth's murder as he is to protect Della. But Bryce is troubled by his inability to lure out the person he calls the Puppet Master, the mysterious figure who seems to control everyone around them, pulling strings and manipulating lives with ruthless precision. As Bryce races against time to unmask a hidden villain whose reach is longer than they ever imagined, Della must use her wits and courage to navigate a web of deceit, betrayal, and murder. The quiet town of Clover may never be the same again if she and Bryce can't unravel the deadly secrets lying just beneath the surface. And that is all we have time for today. Indeed. Okay. Good morning, Elena. How you doing? Oh, you betcha. Yeah. Yeah. All righty. Well, that is all we have time for today. Tomorrow we'll be looking at romance, love. Tonight I do have sprints at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. They go for 2.5 hours. Bring your own book, work on a project, or just close your eyes after a day. It is time carved out for you. I do them 3 times a week, every Tuesday and Thursday evenings and Saturday afternoons. I hope you have a very good Tuesday. Please take care of yourselves. Read good books. Kim's sending prayers. Mary, have a good time at the library. And Elena, you have a very good day. Many thanks. Hope everyone has a great day. And as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom nom. Have a good day and God bless.